My adopted son embezzled millions during his internship and framed me for it. He was crying hysterically at my feet. Dad, please save me. I'm about to graduate college. My life is just starting. I can't go to jail. I treated him like my own, so I took the blame. 10 years in prison. Never once did my wife or son visit me. When I got out, I found my wife had remarried, and Leo, my adopted son, was acting all high and mighty, telling me to get lost so I wouldn't bring bad luck to the family. My funds had long been drained by them. My parents, heartbroken, fell ill and passed away without treatment. I was left with nothing, enraged and wanting the truth. But I got hit and killed by a drunk driver before I could find out. When I opened my eyes again, it was the day Leo was supposed to start his internship at my company. My wife, all excited, came up to me, "Honey, let Leo intern at the company. Once he learns the ropes, you can take it easy." Leo was over the moon, shouting, "Hurry up and retire. I'm going to inherit the business. This life." I wanted to see how this wicked wife could support that heartless brat. Graduation is upon us. "Leo, you're amazing." My wife was at it again, "Honey, let Leo intern at the company. You'll have more free time after he learns the business." Leo was thrilled. "Old man, retire soon, I want to take over." Their voices, both strange and familiar, buzzed in my ears. I was confused at first, but clarity returned and a cold smile crept onto my face. I realized I'd been reborn, back to the day Leo was to start at my company. "Leo, this time we're going to have some fun." They hugged, faces glowing with excitement, but I only saw how dark people's hearts can be. Tina, acting all sweet, wrapped her arm around mine. "What's up, honey?" "Leo's grown up, happy days are coming. He's fantastic. Once he runs our company, it'll be a Fortune 500. Before she could finish, Leo snatched my car keys and shoved me towards the door, grumbling, "Let's go to our company. And you're retiring soon, this Mercedes is mine. You take the bus." Yeah, Leo didn't take my last name. My wife said her name sounded auspicious, so Leo used it. Now it seems it had a deeper meaning. Remembering my tragic past started when Leo interned at my company. I instinctively grabbed the keys back. "No way." Leo froze, a glint of malice in his eyes, quickly switching to a pitiful look. Tina, so concerned, spun around, shrieking, "Ben, are you crazy? The boy's about to graduate, he's our future. If he doesn't intern, do you want him to beg on the streets? Is that how a father acts?" With Tina backing him up, Leo perked up, tossing the keys hard on the ground, barking, "Dads elsewhere cherish their kids. Unlike you, so selfish. This big company, and you won't let me in because I'm not your real kid? Treat me like this, and aren't you afraid I'll abandon you when you're old?" Whack! My hand flew, slapping Leo across the face. He shut right up, shocked. Never had I laid a finger on him before. My hand stung like hell. Silence ensued. I picked up the keys and slammed the door behind me. Inside, I heard Leo's cussing and Tina's screeching, "Ben, how dare you hit my son? I'll fight you." Last life, after Leo interned, he worked hard for 2 days, then showed his true colors, embezzling millions. One night, the company's CFO, flanked by security, marched Leo into my office, accusing him of misappropriating funds, a crime warranting at least 5 years. Since I was sterile, I thought of Leo as my own. Seeing him so bleak, I couldn't bear him going to jail before graduating. Somehow, Tina's family guilted me into taking the fall. Tina used the excuse of shielding Leo from my influence to get me to sign divorce papers, handing over my assets to them. In 10 years behind bars, not once did Tina visit me, nor Leo, something I suspected but didn't want to believe. Worse, they inherited my company without repaying the stolen millions, leading the courts to come down harder on me, sentencing me to 10 years. Upon release, I returned to the home we'd shared, only to find it sold off. Everything changed. Even my company had declared bankruptcy, funds siphoned away. My folks, heartbroken, were stricken with illness and, without money for care, passed on. Took me ages to track down Tina and Leo. They were living in a mansion, driving luxury cars, cozied up on either side of the CFO, the three appearing happy and smug. I charged forward, demanding answers, but the CFO blocked me, sighing, "Sorry, Ben. After you were jailed, I helped your wife. Over time, we fell in love." Tina met my gaze unapologetic. "Ben, you were in jail. Left us with nothing. I had to find support. Blame yourself for being greedy, embezzling funds. We couldn't wait for you forever." Leo, hands in pockets, sneered at me. "Ex-con, still want to be my dad? Gross. Get lost." I was determined to uncover the truth, but a drunk driver killed me. As I lay there dying, the face of the driver looked familiar, though I couldn't quite see it. After leaving home, I went straight to the company and pored over the accounts. From morning into the night. Thankfully, no issues. It's clear that Leo's embezzlement happened after he started interning at the company. But the company's system is solid, and Leo's just a rookie on his internship. How could he possibly bypass the financial system to steal millions? Something's off here. Also, I can't wrap my head around why the two people I've given my heart to are being so heartless to me. If I can't figure it out, I guess I need to let it go for now. Later, I dropped by my parents' place. After the separation in my past life, I finally understand what truly matters. While chatting, I checked Instagram on my phone and glanced over at Twitter. There was Tina and Leo standing in front of my company, flashing victory signs. Their post said, "Starting today, I'm working at my family's company, striving to be someone useful to society." I immediately tried calling Tina, but no answer. Rushed home, hoping to ask them why they started interning at my company without my permission, only to find my study was a mess. Several of my valuable paintings were missing. Only the cheap books were scattered around. Thankfully, there was a hidden camera in the corner of my study. I checked the footage on my phone and was instantly furious. Tina and her son had taken my paintings. I grabbed my phone, ready to call the cops, but I held back, eager to uncover the truth. Just then, the door opened. Tina walked in, holding a cheap belt from a street vendor, placing it in my hand. With a gentle expression, she said, "Look how thoughtful our Leo is. Even though you hit him, he still knows your birthday is coming and got you a present. But you should still apologize to him, right? After all, you did hit him." I pushed her hand away. "Where are my paintings?" I asked. Tina looked aggrieved. "You wouldn't let Leo intern at your company, so we had to ask your big shareholder to let him in. Asking for favors means you have to give gifts, right? Your old paintings were all we could offer." "Old paintings?" A wave of anger surged through me. "Those paintings are worth over $3 million. Before, I felt sad but not angry because I treated Leo as my own. But now, I want them gone from my life. All these years, I raised Leo, supporting his lifestyle, education, and private schooling, costing me tens of thousands a month. He got into college because of the money I spent. After work, I check his homework, helping him study since Tina doesn't lift a finger around the house. I'm not used to hiring help, so I cooked for the family. Plus, Tina spoiled Leo, buying him luxury clothes and watches with my money just to make him happy. In my past life, I sensed Leo was closer to Tina than to me. It sometimes made me feel lonely. I thought he'd understand my intentions once he grew up. But all I got was betrayal and abandonment. Looking at Tina, shamelessly standing there, I felt furious. To give away paintings worth over $3 million just for an internship? You have no sense of value with someone else's money. Tina frowned, tears in her eyes despite trying to push back. "Honey, don't be so petty. We can always make more money, but Leo's future is priceless." "Future?" I retorted. "Spending over $3 million for an internship at my company? What kind of future is that?" Just as I finished, Leo stormed in from outside and shoved me hard. "You filthy old man. Now I see your true colors. You care more about money than your own kid. I'm done with this crappy place." With that, Leo slammed the door and left. Tina yelled back at me, "If anything happens to Leo, you'll regret it." Then she hurried after him. I ended up on the floor, trembling with anger. Leo pushing me was the last straw. He's an ungrateful wolf. It's time to cut ties with these two. I need a divorce. As I forced myself to calm down and gather the divorce papers, the thought of splitting half of my assets with them brought fresh fury. That evening, Tina called, sounding frantic. "Are you satisfied? Leo got scammed. Come to the company, fast." Before I could answer, she hung up. In this life, things happen sooner. As long as I'm cautious, I won't fall for it again. It's crucial to get to the bottom of this. So I drove to the company. When I arrived, the office was surprisingly crowded. Tina and Leo were there, along with my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Leo rushed over, falling to his knees before me. He slapped himself and begged with tearful eyes, "Dad, only you can help me." It had been a while since I heard him call me that. Felt oddly unfamiliar. I sighed inside. In my past life, I should have spotted the issue sooner. I played along, lifting him up, asking, "What happened? Tell me slowly." Leo wiped away his tears, voice trembling, "Dad, I took $1 million from our company and got caught." I smirked inwardly, so it had come to this. I pretended to be enraged, slapping Leo. "You little punk. You dare steal from the company? Is this how I raised you?" I caught Leo off guard. He was about to curse when he remembered needing my help and held back. My father-in-law was furious, kicking me as he shouted, "Ben, have you lost it? Leo did nothing wrong. Taking a little money from the company, what's the big deal?" I glared at him. What's the big deal? It might be my company, but it's a corporation with several major shareholders. Leo embezzling money is like stealing from them. Do you think they'd let that slide? If he's charged, it's a decade behind bars. My mother-in-law sat on the ground, wailing, "Ben, he's my only grandson. You've got to find a way." My father-in-law urged, "Just confess for him. They won't give you too long of a sentence." I replied coldly, "Leo stole $1 million. How does this concern me? Have him return the money, and I'll talk to the board, see if they'll ease up." Tina froze, shocked by my words, and burst into tears, saying, "The money is gone. How can we repay it? Leo, that kid, always eager to prove himself to the company, got caught in an esports scam and lost $10 million. We can't let this slide. The only option is to call the police and hope for some leniency if he turns himself in." I picked up my phone to call the police, but Tina stopped me. "Ben, can't you understand? Leo embezzled company funds and he'll go to jail. He's about to graduate. If he goes to jail, his life is over." Leo was on the floor, holding his head, sobbing. Tina held my hand and pleaded, "Honey, our Leo needs you. Only you can save him. You need to step up and be the father he needs." "What do you mean?" I pretended not to know. Thud. Tina immediately kneeled before me, her voice urgent, "Honey, Leo used your company account to move the funds. No one knows it was him except us. You just need to tell the CFO that it was you who embezzled the money. Leo's future is in your hands." In my heart, I sneered. So this is how they're framing me. Tina knew my company account details. Then, Leo used my account to embezzle, expecting me to take the fall. They're trying to ruin me. Even my in-laws dropped to their knees. "Ben, you can't have children, and we've never blamed you for that. For years, we treated Leo as our own grandson, and you know it. He's finally graduating from college. His life is just beginning. We can't let it be ruined like this. Otherwise, we won't die in peace." I pretended to wipe away a tear. "But, honey, I also don't want to go to jail." Tina's whole family was stunned. Leo was on the brink of a meltdown, threatening to slam into a wall. If going to jail is inevitable, I might as well be dead. Tina grabbed him and screamed at me, "Ben, do you have any humanity left? Why are you so selfish now? As his father, isn't it your duty to take the blame for him? Are you expecting me to do it?" Raising an eyebrow, I replied, "I'm the breadwinner. You sit at home doing nothing, so wouldn't it be perfect for you to go to jail?" Tina's face turned deep red, and she struggled to find a reason to answer. Ignoring the facts, "Don't you have any fault in this?" But my crafty mother-in-law said, "Ben, you need to take responsibility for this. If you hadn't pressured Leo, he wouldn't have felt the need to prove himself. And if he didn't need to validate himself, how could he be fooled? So you're the reason for all this. Besides, Leo still needs to take care of us, and you going to jail would be perfect. I said casually, if you care so much about your grandson, you should take the blame for him yourselves. It'll be a cozy place for retirement. Are you serious? Those are my parents. Tina screamed, furious. The whole family kept crying, begging, and kneeling before me for hours. As evening approached, I pretended to sigh and said, all right, I'll talk to the CFO and see if there's room for negotiation. Embezzling 10 million is no small thing. They immediately shared smiles, not even trying to hide their intentions, and whispered among themselves before making a call. Within minutes, the CFO walked in. The CFO, Mike, was someone I hired because he came recommended by Tina, and I trusted him heavily. In the past, he ended up marrying my wife and seizing all my assets. I've been curious about Mike's role in this setup. This time, I'll find out. And in this life, I noticed that my wife was flirting with Mike, making me feel like the odd one out. Mike brought 2 police officers with him, indicating he had preemptively called the cops. Stepping in, he accused me with a pained expression. Ben, you're too greedy. If you needed money, why didn't you ask me? How could you steal from the company? Filled with righteous anger, he passionately informed the officers about how I supposedly embezzled 10 million. Tina and Leo faked a few crocodile tears. It was pathetic. After Mike finished speaking, Tina finally lifted her head, tears glistening, swearing, honey, don't worry and go with the police. I'll take care of everything at home, and I'll wait for you to come back. Your parents are like my own, and I'll take care of them when they're old. Oh, before you leave, let's sign the divorce papers. You know Leo needs to take exams after graduation and can't have a father with a criminal record. I have no choice. What a load of crap. I never knew she could act so well before. In the past, my parents got seriously ill due to sadness over my situation and died because we couldn't afford treatment. Tina never visited, and their burial was funded by the community. Leo knelt again, saying, Dad, go ahead. I'll wait for you. The police were ready to take me away. Wait. I stopped and pointed at Leo. He's the one who embezzled funds. Not me. Leo jumped, furious. Dad, are you out of your mind? Why are you blaming me for something you did? Tina didn't even care that the police were present. She smacked me across the face, breaking her usual ladle-like demeanor. Ben, shut up. You're talking nonsense. Mike pounded on his chest, swearing to high heaven, officers, I am the company's CFO. I formally report that it was Ben who embezzled 10 million. He's trying to escape punishment by framing his own child. Such a man deserves divine retribution. Punish him severely. The commotion from my office attracted a bunch of colleagues, shocked at what they heard. They despised my alleged greed. As the company's owner, how could I steal from it? Faced with the judgmental stares of my colleagues, it was the perfect time for the spy camera I had installed to shine. I took out my phone and played a video. On the office's main screen, footage of Tina's family kneeling, begging me to take the fall for Leo played. Right after they entered, I used my phone to start recording. It captured Tina's family's ugly faces and proved my innocence. Otherwise, Leo would have embezzled 10 million in my office using my account. Even if I hadn't taken the blame, I wouldn't have been able to explain it. Too bad I've been wronged by them once before. There's no way I'd make the same mistake again. The room fell silent. The first to break down was Mike, who collapsed immediately. He was the company's CFO, and he'd sworn I was embezzling funds. Let's see how he explains this to the cops now. Before the video even finished, Tina's face went pale with fear. Leo kicked me down and tried to snatch my phone, but then the police stopped him. Everyone got taken to the station. I thought their crimes were a done deal, but then Mike changed his story. He said he'd made a mistake, misreporting the accounts himself, and then tried to find a scapegoat, pinning it on me. Because nothing actually happened, and with Mike's cooperative attitude, the court granted him bail, so he got off easy. But there was no way I'd let Mike stay in the company. We quickly held a shareholders' meeting, and they agreed to fire him. So, just after leaving detention, Mike got booted from the company. But the story doesn't end here. I got a professional audit team to dig through Mike's books, hoping for a revelation. I'm not vindictive. I just want clarity. In another life, Mike staged a drunk driving accident that killed me. I wasn't about to let him go this time, so Mike took the fall alone. Tina and Leo were unharmed. I was bummed about that, but life goes on. Plus, I was stuck on how to kick Tina and her ungrateful kid out. Just then, Tina called, sounding furious. Ben, get to the hotel now. At the hotel suite, there they were. Tina, Leo, and Mike, cozy like a family reunion. This was my shot. I hid my excitement and lounged on the sofa. What's up? I asked casually. Bam! Leo lost it first, slamming the table and yelling, "Old man, you almost ruined my life. If it weren't for my dad, no, Uncle Mike being soft-hearted, I'd be in jail now. Dad, what happened to you? I'm Leo, your kid. Have you lost your mind?" I ignored him, took a drag of my cigarette, and felt at ease. Mike glared at me intensely. Ben, you're letting your kid swing in the wind while I, an outsider, take the blame. I saved Leo, yet you fired me. That's not right. How am I not taking care of him? I feigned confusion, scratching my ear. You're the one who told the police you messed up the accounting. What's that got to do with Leo? You. Mike's face turned crimson. Tina flung a drink at me, drenching me, and screamed, "Bullshit." Mike only shouldered everything 'cause he pitted us. Mike covered the $1 million hole Leo got duped into. Ben, you gotta repay Mike $1 million, plus 500 grand extra. It's our debt. She glared at me until I slowly nodded, her expression finally relaxing a bit. Transfer the money now. We're watching you. Sorry, it's late. That's a lot of cash. I need to gather it. I reluctantly shrugged, pretending to get up. Leo grabbed my arm, practically holding me hostage, saying, "Stay here till morning, and treat us to dinner." Balling my fists, my nails dug into my palms, a flash of anger in my eyes. After trying to frame me, they were demanding dinner as if nothing happened? Too far. But patience was key. I ordered a feast and lots of drinks. The three had worked themselves into a hunger, eating and drinking away. Mike drank a few too many, upset about losing his job. Soon they were all out cold. It was time to reveal the truth. "Mike," I called out hesitantly, but he was unresponsive. Feeling bolder, I yanked out a few of his sparse hairs. Then over to Leo. He'd drunk heavily and was out cold. I used his finger to unlock his phone. On Instagram, there was a pinned group named Happy Family, with just 3 members, him, Tina, and Mike. There were tons of messages, including one from Leo to Mike. "Dad, don't stress. Even if Ben's not doing time, getting 1.5 million from him's sweet. Soon, Mom divorces him, gets half his stuff, and we'll all be together. This money secures us for life." Plus, there were loads of photos capturing every occasion when they gathered at my house under the guise of me working. Putting 2 and 2 together from what happened last lifetime, I'd already suspected that Leo was Mike and Tina's biological son. Looking at this kid I raised with all my heart, seeing him call me an old beast, it really stung. This connection was misplaced. But it didn't matter. People must move on. I snapped photos of the evidence with my phone, snatched more of Leo's hair, and then went for Tina's too. As for the 1.5 million, a joke. No way I was paying. Then I left the hotel. First thing in the morning, with all this collected evidence, I headed straight to a law firm. It clearly documented that Tina had cheated during our marriage, birthing a child with another man for me to raise. She never worked, leaving me to handle all the home and expenses alone. Worse still, they would invite the wild man into my home when I was off working, making merry with Leo as if they were family there. They'd plotted to frame me, aiming to take all my property. I felt like a fool, working as their pawn for years. I sent Tina our final message. Divorce. This nightmare was finally ending. In court, Tina had no idea how much evidence I had against her. She shamelessly pointed at me, saying, "Ben, are you even human? I've served you for so many years. I may not have achieved much, but I've definitely worked hard. Despite your selfishness and arrogance, I never thought of divorcing you. You couldn't have kids, so I adopted Leo for you. How could you be so heartless? Fine, if you want a divorce, go ahead. I hope you won't regret it. Leo chimed in, my dad's a terrible person, fooling around outside, hitting my mom and me, and blowing money like it's nothing. Judge, please grant my custody to my mom. I want to be with her, and it'd be best if all the family assets go to us. The two of them acted all sad and upset, but I could see the smirk nearly reaching their ears. With my assets totaling $30 million, splitting it would leave them $15 million. Of course, they'd be thrilled. Leo, celebrating too soon? I said, you won't just miss out on money, you might end up paying me back all those years of support. That's bullshit. Leo snapped. I've called you dad for nothing all these years? Tina, feeling a bit insecure, tried pulling the emotional card. Ben, we've been married. Let's part amicably. Just split the money with us. I smirked. I know all about you and Mike. What do you think the judge will say? Suddenly, Leo wasn't so cocky, his face anxious, unable to speak. Actions speak louder than words. My lawyer presented the evidence, and I won the case without a hitch. Tina lost everything and owed me compensation. Walking out of court, Tina looked defeated, scared of losing her lavish life. She pushed Leo toward me to apologize, hoping I'd remember the good times and forgive them. Dad, I'm sorry. I was wrong, Leo said, putting on an act. Even if I have a biological father, my feelings for you were real. If you give me the property now, I'll give us a chance to live as a family of 4. I just looked at him with disdain. His face changed, voice tinged with threat. Old man, you can't have kids. You'll need me when you're old. Aren't you afraid nobody will be there for your last days? Tina sobbed, seeking sympathy. Honey, I wasn't right before. But apart from that, weren't you at fault too? I admit my mistakes. Now can you forgive me? Get lost, I said, cutting the conversation short. No point wasting words on Tina. I turned and left. Leo tried blocking my way. Ben, my mom apologized. Don't test your luck. Screw you. I kicked him away just like he'd kicked me in another life. Stay away from me. Later, when Tina came with Leo to get their stuff from my place, I was hosting a dinner with colleagues. All the food was from a 5-star hotel, and they were drooling over the feast. Leo's jealousy was plain as day, his eyes red. Rotten old man, you throw us out but live it up yourself. Yeah, I used to save the good stuff for them, but now they'll just have to get by on scraps. Tina sneered, whatever. My husband Mike is loaded too. Leo, let's go home and have a feast to celebrate leaving this heartless jerk. She packed valuables into a bag. Suddenly, I noticed she grabbed a bottle of my vitamins. It was something she'd given me for lowering blood fats, always reminding me to take them. These were a few bucks, so why take them? Feeling something was off, I stood up and took the bottle back. Ben, what are you doing? That's my medicine, Tina said, trying to grab it back, but my colleague stopped her. These are my meds, I replied, stashing the bottle away. This needs to go to the lab for testing. Seeing we had the numbers, Leo didn't dare speak up, dragging his mom away. They took off with full bags, but I thought they'd return everything eventually. Plus, I hadn't even settled the scores with Mike yet. In my past life, Mike faked a drunk driving accident to kill me to keep me from uncovering the truth. This time, I'd strike first to stop him from doing anything rash. The next morning, I was working at the office when the major shareholder called an emergency board meeting. At the boardroom, I saw Mike. My secretary pulled me aside, whispering loudly, "Boss, there's trouble. Check the internet." I quickly opened TikTok to find a live stream going viral. Leo, sporting bruises, was tearfully claiming how he grew up under my abuse. He said I gained everything with his and his mom's help and now I was throwing them out. They had no option but to sleep on the streets. A major shareholder sternly informed me, "Ben, your family issues are affecting our stock prices and hurting shareholders. We need you to step down for now. Mike will take your place." Things already got ugly, and Mike coldly reminded me, "Ben, I told you before to be civil. This is your own doing." "Fine, I could use a break," I replied, ignoring Mike as I spoke to the shareholders before heading home. On the way, I got a call from the hospital lab. The researcher told me what I'd been taking wasn't vitamins. It was male birth control. It all clicked. No wonder Tina and I never had kids. She'd been giving me birth control pills all these years. Tina and her family were absolutely ruthless. Without my own kids, I had to treat Leo like my own. They just leeched on me, always trying to drain me. In my previous life, they actually succeeded and even caused my downfall. I was shaking with anger. I called the cops right away. Tina poisoning me is a crime. 2 hours later, I got a call from the police saying they caught them. They were grateful I reported it early because Mike and the family were about to flee the country. Turns out, Tina and her son were bad-mouthing me online, putting pressure on my company. The major shareholder had earlier received the stolen paintings from Tina. He was threatened by Tina and forced to help her once more, making Mike the general manager. But Mike embezzled millions in cash from the company, booked tickets, and was all set to flee abroad with his family of 3. This time, caught red-handed, we met again at the police station. Tina lost it, screaming at me, "Ben, you bastard. We were about to leave. Why'd you ruin everything?" Mike was furious, his eyes burning with anger. "When I get out, I'll kill you. Embezzling millions? By the time you're out, you'll be ancient." I sneered and walked away. With all the evidence, Tina and her son's online antics to smear my name blew up on social media. Their accounts got banned. Mike got 30 years for making fake accounts and stealing company funds, committing breach of trust. Tina got 10 years for poisoning me, committing crimes of placing dangerous substances and intentional harm. The company's reputation bounced back. The major shareholder apologized personally, asking me to manage the company again. Also, due to Tina's harm to me, I filed for civil compensation. The court enforced Mike and Tina's assets to be transferred to me. Both of them ended up in jail. It left only Tina's parents homeless, wandering the streets with Leo. Leo, whom I had raised in luxury, couldn't handle such hardship. He gritted his teeth, shamelessly waited for me outside the neighborhood gate. "Dad." Leo fell on his knees, begging, "Dad, I was wrong. Please, I haven't eaten in 3 days." In just a month, Leo turned from a pampered young man to a beggar. Once tall and sturdy, he was now thin and frail, hair stinking, and clothes filthy. Scared me, and I quickly dodged away. I rushed back into the neighborhood, and he got blocked outside. "Dad, I'm sorry. Give me another chance. I'll be your real son." Leo was pleading from outside, eyes full of desperation. "Only a fool would forgive you. Stay as far away as you can." I turned and walked away. Leo's eyes were bloodshot as he jumped over the fence into the neighborhood. But the security guards quickly stunned him with batons and tossed him far away. Finally, Leo met a tragic end. Tricked into organ trafficking in northern Myanmar, his fate unknown. Tina and Mike's compensation came through, and I donated every penny to charity. The world showed me kindness. I couldn't help but love it back.